redacted names, addresses, and the cell phone number. In fairness to the individual who is Gold Truck number 1 in oncoming traffic. See, the problem with that statement is...
That ain't a gold truck, that's a golden ticket, baby. And God bless y'all.
The following program is rated TV MA. Viewer discretion is advised.
Is in direct contravention to what was said minutes earlier. It's not written by him, and where it says signed, it's not signed, it's refused. But you see, when I have a witness who is the most critical, and he's telling you, I wasn't traveling fast, we know now that he wasn't. The data shows 2.99 seconds before that he was traveling 28 miles an hour. The data shows that. Now he corroborates that. And he goes on to say, I didn't even make a skid mark. That woman behind me, she caused that accident. And you give me this statement that is refused? I got a problem.
So I guess the Gold Truck guy's wife wrote it. If I were to guess, remember he said his wife was going to do it on the video, and she refused to sign it, which is a red flag. As a witness, you have the right to refuse to sign a written statement, especially at the scene of an accident. Possible reasons include disagreement with the written account. You may disagree with how the police officers summarize or transcribe your account of the crash. You may be worried that the statement could be used against you or another party in a way you do not intend. Or this officer wrote this shit.
I got a problem with that.
They don't want to see that, though. They don't want to see that, chat. They do not want to see that, chat. The live just ended too, gang. They don't want to see that, chat. You're ready, don't you, boy? DriPPie, join the better kind of bang. If you know the vibes, you like, comment, subscribe, show love, do you best for the rest. Don't trust nobody breath, man. You know the vibes. Shout out to Sam for this song. She said, DriPPie's home, yeah. She said that was a staple, so I had to bring it back for you guys, you know what I'm saying? But on a more serious note, I felt I had to bring this one to everyone's attention. It's a little late, but like it's been something I've been meaning to get to, so let's like get right into it, y'all. We got the Kyren Lacy car crash explained, and it's sad and drastic how it unfolded. However, you know, I still feel like this is something that everyone should be aware of and should be on every platform, and it should have been spoken about more, if I do say so myself. I want to say shout out to Cuff Boys on the video. Reliable. You know, I love to see his consistency. I love to see what he does. Let's get into this video.
Kyren Lacy was supposed to be the next big wide receiver out of LSU. A 6'2" deep threat with speed, coming off his best season yet. Scouts had him pegged as a mid-round pick in the 2025 NFL Draft. But on December 17, 2024, police say Lacy caused a devastating car crash in Louisiana that killed a 78-year-old man. Investigators say he was driving recklessly, speeding and making an illegal pass in a no passing zone. Worst of all, they claim he fled the scene without stopping or calling for help. The fallout was immediate. Prosecutors issued an arrest warrant, charging him with negligent homicide, felony hit and run, and reckless operation of a vehicle. Lacy turned himself in, posted a $151,000 bond, and waited for his day in court. But while he was free, his football career collapsed. NFL teams backed away. Scouts stopped calling. Instead of training for the combine, he was preparing for trial. On April 12th.
You see that? Y'all see that, right, chat? Hold on. Y'all see that, right, chat? That's, as a sports brand owner, that's some of the things that we look out for, right? Looking at a great player, prospect player, somebody like this guy right here, you feel me? And I'm sure he feels like he has a target on his back. And even if he's falsely accused, he's still going to look like a perpetrator. He's still going to look like the bad guy because there's so much good projected on him. Once they hear one little thing about the bad, it kind of scares everyone that, you know, he's going to have a track record of that. You know what I'm saying? Even if he's innocent, it just puts everybody it just puts the wrong people on his radar. You feel what I'm saying? People that probably never heard of him, now they're hearing of him for the wrong reasons. You feel what I'm saying? Not to say that he's not to say he's guilty, but that's just how, like, people are. Even when you give, like, the wrong narrative to things, you tell somebody a false story, you know, people just run with rumors and stuff like that, and it just happens to be what people want to hear, happens to be what people choose to be ignorant about. You know what I'm saying? So It's. I don't think it should go about the way that it did. But I don't want to spoil it. I'm gonna let you guys hear what really went down, guys. You know what I'm saying?
2025, just 2 days before a grand jury was set to hear his case, police say Lacy got into an argument with a family member in Houston, Texas. He fired a gun into the ground and fled in his car. Officers chased him, and when the pursuit ended, they found him dead from an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound. In the wake of his death, his legal team pushed back. His attorney, Matt Ori, released a huge statement, called the entire investigation a witch hunt, saying it was overzealous and targeted, driven by public perception, not facts. And the evidence would have led to a declination of charges by the grand jury. His lawyer spoke out more today and released the footage of the crash. And Kyren is really far from this crash, bro. I'm gonna watch this full video of his lawyer speaking. Stick around for the full video. Let's go.
And good to see you, man. Thank you for coming.
Good to see you, Martin. Thank you for having me.
Did you compile anything new?
I've got everything. I've got every piece of evidence I have viewed. I've examined every piece of evidence, which includes all surveillance, all body cam footage, and most importantly, the investigative report that was generated and manufactured by the Lafourche Parish District Attorney's Office, according to the data that they obtained.
I want to say this. Now, you shouldn't have to have a lawyer to verify these things. You feel what I'm saying? This is something that should be filtered and should be done when you're in the process of prosecuting somebody. When you're in the process of accusing, when you're in the process of charging somebody with anything. These are things and evidence and resources that should be presented to the person when you're even trying to arrest them. Arrest somebody, charge them. A public figure at that, no investigation. At that point, that's negligence, and I feel like that's literally the same thing that happened with AI. Allen Iverson. Yes, I'm taking it that far back. You guys remember when he was all-star high school football player, basketball player, prospecting to be, great college player. Looked by all types of scouts and all scouting reports and all of that. And all of that is taken away because of a situation that happened that he did not have no participation, right? Back in the day, stuff like that might happen, right? Back in the day, stuff like that might happen where, you can blame it on not having surveillance. You can blame it on not having credible sources or having the resources to get forensics or anything like that. This day and age, that should not be a thing. You feel what I'm saying? That process should not be more complicated than it was 20, 30 years ago. You feel what I'm saying? If anything, it should be easier. If anything, it should be more effective and more efficient. Doesn't make no sense to me, man, at all.
Entirety of the district attorney's findings, their findings after their own investigation. That's what we're here today to present. We're going to compare and contrast those findings with the findings of state police, because there's a ton of confusion. People seem to believe that somehow he hit someone in this accident, or possibly even shot through two cars and there was this explosion behind him. I've heard every version possible.
This is true. The public perception right now of Kyren Lacy for some people is that he straight up caused this huge accident and just left him in the dust.
Yeah, so what you'll see is in the top left of the screen, you're going to see multiple cars just making their way south to Thibodaux, coming from Vacherie. At some point in time, you're going to see the collision, which we're going to know is vehicle number 2 from oncoming traffic colliding with the vehicle of Mr. Hall. You will see another vehicle come to a stop, and then you'll see Kyren Lacy come to a stop.
So as we've seen the video, it looks like
that's just a smart driver, right? Technically, hear me out. That's like a smart driver who's just like minding his own business. You know what I'm saying? He might be on his way to do something. You feel what I'm saying? He might be on his way to handle some type of business, and he might just be in a rush. Now, me personally, if there's a crash like that, what a lot of people more than likely do, they just, they drive around it, they look, they speculate, they see, you know what I'm saying? Good thing, but also, sometimes you have to be that one person to get out the car and check on everybody to make sure, people are okay. You can make sure, you can help where you can, you know what I'm saying? Because that's a critical car accident. Now, I'm not saying that it's his job, and to anybody driving by, no, you could look at it like it's not your job. You know what I'm saying? You could just drive by and think about the next person that want to do that instead. However, nowadays people are ignorant to that, and sometimes you got to be that one to hop out, check, make sure everything's good in that situation. You know what I'm saying? The way that it went down with Kevin Lacy, he just was like, let me mind my business. zipped in, zipped out, minding his business. And it's crazy, him minding his business apparently unfolded in the worst way possible. Like,
The impact happens, and then Kyren Lacy is behind him. How far away was he from there?
Pretty far, right?
Well, yeah, that's the beauty of the investigative report that I now have my hands on. We know from data that Kyren Lacy did in fact pass 4 cars. There's no disputing that. Further north, Kyren Lacy passed 4 cars.
Further north, so behind Kyren, he passed cars behind him that were on the video that we just saw. Obviously not the cars in front of him. He didn't attempt to pass them yet.
He was back in his lane of travel, 92.3 yards. Back in his lane, behind Mr. Hall.
Did you hear that? Back in his lane, 92 yards behind Mr. Hall. 92 yards is far as shit. That's a football field. I know it's kind of crazy to say this, but think about how long a football field is.
At the time of impact, he's 72.6 yards behind the vehicles at the time of impact. Keyword, behind the vehicles. That is not how this story was ever painted. Never. This is the investigation of the Lafourche Parish District Attorney's Office. So
I mean, I really don't understand how he was charged in this. 92 yards is far as shit, even in a car, in my opinion.
think about a football field, chat. You feel what I'm saying? That's basically almost a full football field. They're driving probably 45, maybe 50 miles per hour. You feel what I'm saying? He's in a Scat Pack or probably a Charger. You got automotive, high performing automotive brakes more than likely in vehicles like that. For him to even be in any kind of dealing with what happened in that situation is insane. You can't blame him for anything that happened in that situation. That's the responsibility and the responsibility or the negligence of the drivers that are in that accident. You feel what I'm saying? When you're driving, you're supposed to drive for your safety. When you're driving, you drive for your safety, and of course the safety of others. But like, say for example, because what I'm finally hearing a story for real right now, and what I'm hearing is that Lacy was a couple cars back, but he wasn't driving in the same lane that other cars were driving in traffic. So I think they're trying to deflect and say that because of how Lacy was driving a couple cars behind, it has caused the accident in front of them, in front of him to happen, basically.
Traveling it looks like 30 to 40 miles per hour.
Law state about where you should be behind, or I want to say I thought it was 100 feet. Is that correct?
it is correct. Take out the fact here that it's a no passing zone. If it weren't at this time, it's 100 feet. What we know now is he was 3 times legally what he needed to be back in his lane of traffic.
Obviously, he shouldn't have been passing in a no
Right.
passing zone. And that's what
Right.
the lawyer pointed out there, but this is insane to me.
What you see here is vehicle 3. That is Mr. Hall's vehicle. This is another vehicle between Mr. Lacy and Mr. Hall. This is the gold truck that's referenced in the report. This is heading north. So this is the lead vehicle heading north. And the vehicle that actually collided with Mr. Hall's vehicle, that would be vehicle 2.
So gold truck's in front of vehicle 2 on this side.
Vehicle 2 was tailgating, all right? According to the data, again, of the district attorney's office, not me, according to their data, tailgating at 49.6 miles an hour, 0.5 seconds behind the gold truck.
You see this? Y'all see this, right? That's corruption.
1.5 seconds before the crash. So again, if that did make sense, she is following 0.5 seconds behind this vehicle, 0.5 seconds behind that vehicle, 1.5 seconds before the crash, at over 49 miles an hour. 0.5. When this woman was in the ambulance, they issued her a ticket. All right? You know for what? Take a wild guess. Following too close. Another trooper comes and is looking for that particular ticket. And that ticket, something may happen to the ticket, don't worry about it. Sure enough, something happened to that ticket down the road, right? The ticket now needs to fit a better narrative. And that ticket now says crossing left of center. Why? Why? The black box is telling me. The data from the district attorney's office tells me you're traveling 0.5 seconds at 49.6 miles an hour, 1.5 seconds before the accident.
That's very sus. Changing it to a different ticket. When does that ever happen? That's very suspect, right?
That data in that vehicle shows me 5 seconds previous to this crash. 5. I'm looking at it, and you're going to show it. 5 seconds previous to this crash, she maintained a speed of 49.6 miles an hour, never activating the EBS system until 0.5 seconds before the crash. Why is that important? Because if your story, which we'll get into, keeps getting bigger and bigger, and you had all this time to see the gold truck, in her words, stomp on their brakes, slam on their brakes, come to a stop, veer off the road. I see another vehicle approaching. I see the Charger approaching. Well, my question to you now becomes, how did you see that vehicle approaching or him stop, or him slam on his brakes, yet your data says you never touched your brake prior to 0.5 seconds before that crash. I'm looking right now, so are you, at the last 5 seconds, according to her. Her car is black box, not mine, not my expert. That's her car. So if you're going to tell me a 5 to 10 second elaborate story, it needs to make sense.
Interesting. So he's saying if you saw Kyren's car, and this is why you caused the accident, is because of Kyren passing a lane in front of you, coming at you, why did you react so late? Because wasn't he already back in the lane at this time too?
And when you have the data, not only doesn't it add up, it's not possible. Notice on there, Martin, it says 75 degrees, right? You turn 75 degrees to the left all of a sudden.
That's a pretty hard turn to the left.
It's a very hard
They
turn
don't
to
want
the
to see
left.
this one.
The gold truck, the lead vehicle in oncoming traffic, who, by the way, is probably one of the two most important witnesses in this entire case.
100%. He's the vehicle in the front in the oncoming traffic from Kyren.
We know now that 2.99 seconds prior to him pulling off the road, he was traveling 28 miles an hour.
That's very slow.
But let's be very clear right now for the intent and purposes of what we're doing. There are two vehicles that we're talking about right now that are traveling north. The second vehicle.
Look, he don't even gotta explain that to me, gang. I already know the verdict, gang. Like, you feel what I'm saying? Like, he ain't even gotta explain nothing to me personally. But for the sake of everybody watching, and in all fairness, innocent and proven guilty, we'll follow through and get as much information to make a good conclusive decision, right? Or to make a good observation, or to make a better deductive reasoning of what's going on, right?
In oncoming traffic, which is vehicle 2, their data says she is tailgating. She is 0.5 seconds at 49.6 miles an hour, 1.5 seconds before the crash. And you saw her data, 50.3 to 49.6.
Yeah, so she stayed at 49.6 until 0.5 seconds, and then
There's a variation of less than a mile per hour. He says upon reviewing the body cam video of the trooper from the scene, the following statement was made by, we'll call her vehicle 2, right? I just know the truck was stomping on brakes. The other was trying to pass the other car. I was trying to dodge by not hitting him, by coming around. When the trooper asked how fast she was going, she replied the speed limit. He next says, I reviewed the recorded interview and the written statement from Vehicle 2 while she was in the hospital on January 3rd, 2025. Below is a synopsis of that interview. And the very first, it says, all I can see is that a car is coming this way and the car in front of me, right before the crash. I'm looking at the pickup truck in front of me. That's all they see for the moment. I'm eating my Funyuns. I got in the middle of my lap and I'm driving. I'm listening to my music. All of a sudden, I see the car get in the other person's lane. The truck, in quote, steps on his brakes. First, so it slows down. But then he does it again, and this time it's really hard. That's when you can see on the other side the car is trying to get back over. But before he can get over, the truck stops in the middle, like on the brakes, hard. There's another car that runs damn near into the pole. It's either I run into him or I try to get out the way, so I'm trying to get to the dollar store parking lot. Then the other car just comes and slams into me. The trooper asked Vehicle 2, whenever you're looking forward, or the car's in front of you, they swerve off to the right before you make your left, or are you looking at a green Charger coming at you? Or, in end of quotes. Vehicle 2 responded with, the green Charger came, and then the car behind me, behind them, the truck, the van, whatever. The trooper does not ask any further follow-up questions to get a better understanding of what she was saying for this answer. Now remember, I'm reading what the investigator's saying. When Vehicle 2 states the truck stops in the middle of the road like on the brakes hard, this statement indicates that the gold truck stopped in the middle of the lane and not, in quotes, swerving off to the right. This would also show that Vehicle 2 would have steered to the left to avoid contact with the gold truck and not Kyren Lacy. During this interview with the trooper, Vehicle 2 made several statements that do not match the submitted report or written statement. Instead of questioning Vehicle 2 for more details, the trooper attempted to recap what she was saying, which seems to contradict her statements.
Yeah, her statements were all over the place just now. That was so confusing.
That was disgusting.
While doing this, the trooper is the first to talk about the gold truck swerving off to the right. Then when it came to obtaining the written statement, the trooper tells Vehicle 2 what to document on the statement as she is writing.
The trooper tells her what to write? Is that what he just said?
do we have any data on the gold truck?
2.99 seconds before the gold truck eases off to the road.
Okay.
Eases off of the road.
Right.
He's traveling at 28 miles an hour.
Right.
That all is in this report.
Yeah, that's my question.
You watch someone slam on their brakes. You watch them stop. You watched a car chart coming at you in your lane of traffic, but you never thought to just tap the brakes? Really? Data is accurate. The black box.
He's traveling 28 miles per hour. You're going doubled his speed limit. You're going doubled his speed. And you're saying he's slamming on his brakes? Why are you going 50 and he's doing 28? Where are you going to be speeding in your lane when somebody's clearly in front of you?
Is accurate. That says that you never touch your brakes. You never touch your brakes in the last 5 seconds until 0.5 seconds before the impact. That's their data. It's not mine.
Yeah, it really doesn't add up or make sense that she reacted so late And she was eating Funyuns?
I'm looking at that gold truck. I want to know what they said, when they said it, what were the circumstances, how did this come about? And this is where it really starts tying together. The very first one, what I noticed on the body cam was that the conversation was going on for 4 minutes and approximately 30 seconds prior to the body cam being activated. And of course, when the body cam's activated, I don't know what you said those previous 4.5 minutes.
I'm gonna be honest, why are police officers allowed to turn body cam on?
Can y'all answer that? Can anybody answer that? Can I hear they're not supposed to? Why do they have the choice of turning on and turning off their body cam when they please? Right? I digress.
On and off. That should be like a law that body cam has to be on if they're on the clock. Honestly. There's a gold truck guy.
Alright, sir.
So this is a guy that was in front of vehicle 2 that could clearly see Kyren's green Charger.
Look, don't worry about filling any of this top information, like your name, address. Don't worry about any of that. Just right here, if you could, I'll just have you write exactly what you saw. Just make sure to include, where you were.
I don't even know what the name of that highway.
It's Highway 20. Highway 20. That you just.
All right, me and my wife gonna figure out right quick.
Okay, just make sure you add in there that you had to slam on your brakes and the brakes, you had to slam on the brakes to avoid that charger and the brakes locked up to avoid that charger. That's.
Why
Okay,
is
so
this
he's telling
officer
the right
telling
one
him
to
what
state.
to add in there? Is that how this
Yeah.
works? That's not how it's supposed to work, right? That's the whole point of witnesses, is to let them write what they saw. Now this guy could be a tainted witness, right? I mean, he just literally told him what to write.
That lady in the back of me.
And they already had a conversation. Hold on. The main thing is they already had a conversation. Why isn't the statement being written before the conversation? Why isn't the body cam on during the conversation?
That record, she was running in the back of me. She pulled on the other side, and that's not in it.
She calls that wreck. The lady that ran in the back of me. The person behind him. I think that's what he's saying.
Oh, but the charger was coming right at you,
Right,
correct?
right.
And that's why you had to
Head
slam
on
on your
with
brake, the head on with you. So yeah, just make sure you include that.
Backed up. The body language is telling me, I need to know, gang. He done backed up because officer is pushing some shit, and this guy is not agreeing with it.
It's very important because we're trying to locate this charger right now. So just include that in the statement, and I'll read it over, and then I'll be out of here.
In that video,
And I'll
you
be
can
outta
clearly
here.
hear the suggestive nature indicating that I need you to
don't
say
act like-
that you had
yeah.
to slam on your brakes and you had to avoid a charge.
We ain't gonna, and an officer trying to make it seem like he's getting out of the guys here by doing and saying what he needs to do, basically insinuating that you're not going to be in trouble. Just do this, say this, and you know what I'm saying? Bother you, this won't spin back to you, this won't touch you at all, right?
Okay, just make sure you add in there that you had to slam on your brakes and the brakes, you had to slam on the brakes to avoid that charger and the
Yeah,
brakes locked
slam
up to
on the
avoid that
brakes.
charger. That's.
That's crazy.
brakes
He's
locked
telling him
up.
what to write in a witness statement.
But then you hear Gold Truck, the witness who's the Gold Truck, what he says. And he says verbatim.
I ain't skid mark or nothing, but I wasn't even going for it. That lady in the back of me, she didn't know what was happening. That's how she called that record. She was running in the back of me. She pulled on the other side. And that's not in it.
I didn't skid marked or
was running
nothing
the back
because
of
I
them.
wasn't even going that fast.
Yeah.
That lady in the back of me, she didn't see what's happening. That's how she caused that wreck. She was gonna run into the back of me and she pulled into the other side.
Boom. It seems like the lady behind this gold truck guy was eating Funyuns and probably fucking dropped them and swerved or something, dude. Honestly, that's what it seems like. Kyren was illegally passing before 100 yards away, but that doesn't mean he caused an accident 100 yards away. It's just literally like he was in the wrong place at the wrong time almost.
I then obtained the actual written statement.
And this is from the gold truck.
This is the Gold Truck. What he's saying is she had to avoid hitting him. He specifically stated she caused that accident, but I've got an affidavit for arrest warrant right here. Nowhere in here does it say anything that you guys just saw on body cam. To the contrary, about that vehicle, it says the Gold Truck took evasive action by emergency braking and driving off the roadway to avoid a head-on crash. But you just heard he said, I wasn't even going fast. I didn't even skid mark. So what emergency braking are we referring to here?
Wasn't he going 28 miles per hour? That's horseshit.
And what the hell was the point of this report? That is complete opposite.
So let's read this. Highway 20, green Charger coming head on, passing multiple cars coming head on. I had to slam on the brakes to avoid accident. I had to veer off-road to avoid getting hit. Then I stopped to check on the cars behind me in the wreck. I was traveling north. The Charger was traveling south in wrong lane, 92 yards away.
She didn't know what was happening. That's how she called that wreck. She was running in the back of me. She pulled on the other side. And that's not in it.
So, but the Charger was coming right at you, correct? And that's why you had to slam on your brake, the head on with you. So yeah, just make sure you include that in. That's very important because we're trying to locate this Charger right now. So just include that in the statement, and I'll read it over, and then I'll be out of here. Okay?
By the way, the body cam wasn't on for this statement. It was turned off before obtaining this statement. And this is what we get back in a file. This is where Kyren passed, right? He comes here, he passes. He gets back in his lane.
Okay, so these are the 4 cars he passed north, and he's traveling south. He's traveling this way, obviously.
Don't you know that one of these witnesses that's in this package actually says in his statement that the Charger passed through the vehicle of Mr. Hall and the gold truck and vehicle 2, and then they collided. I can't make this up.
That witness is on fucking drugs. What are they saying? He was so far behind the accident, he did not pass through the cart.
This is what people just don't get to see. And again, I'm not saying this intentional. I'm saying people commit to a story and they don't back down. You saw it here, but I'm telling you, you guys saw a video. You just saw a statement where somebody tells them what to say. They tell them that's not what happened. They still give me the statement.
He's not wrong. This is ridiculous. I can't believe they charged him with this.
Disappointing, man.
And now I got another individual who we won't harp into here because it's so uncredible, right? That one individual, one of the 4 individuals here, they say that they were going 30 to 35 miles an hour when Kyren passed him. He did. There's no disputing that. No one ever did, but he was back in his lane of travel. 92.3 yards back in. 72.6 at the time of impact. When they collide, he is 72.6. Before.
So now when you're driving, that's not a lot of, if I'm being honest, that's not a lot of distance, right? 70 yards, 30, 35 miles per hour, that's not a lot of distance. However, the cars that are driving towards Lacy driving towards the vehicles, the man stopping or having 28 miles per hour and the lady behind him going 40, there's something not right. And then for that lady to cut in front of one of the cars, that's even more terrible. Then to have another car behind that green car, the Charger, to be able to slow down and stop, and then Lacy being behind that car and be able to go around traffic.
Before they collide, he is almost a football field away back in his lane.
I love how he's saying football field too. It's like the easiest way to really get the grasp of how far that is. The pass was 92 yards away. Even in a car, I know people are going to say it's in a car. The people he's passing are going 30 miles per hour.
That's not disputed. What you can see is another car come to a stop, and then Kyren Lacy come to a stop.
Still come to a stop.
But you know what's really interesting to me as well is that there was another passenger in Kyren Lacy's car. They knew this. They have video footage of this individual getting out of the car. Why didn't you ascertain his identity? Why would you not want to hear the person with one of the best views of this incident? Why would you make a call? Why would you simply not bring him in for questioning?
Probably because it didn't fit their narrative, or I would imagine that guy didn't want to speak to the police. Probably Kyren's friend or family member. They're probably like, fuck this.
Or you talked to him after?
Of course I talked to him after. It's exactly what they said. It's exactly what they said. They actually thought at one point in time that she collided with the gold truck.
I think the girl behind the gold truck caused this accident. Like straight up, that's what it seems like. She had Funyuns, and she swerves left out of nowhere into oncoming traffic.
The very last line of the report from the district attorney's office says, the evidence submitted in the crash report does not support that Kyren Lacy should have known that his actions were the cause of the crash that happened approximately 72 yards in front of him.
So why was he charged? What the fuck is this? That basically just says he's innocent right there.
And what we know is we never disputed ever that he passed those vehicles. They were in a row, 4 vehicles in a row. We know they were going 30 to 35 miles an hour. He passed them. It was a no passing zone, but he got back in. 92.3 yards. He was back in his lane of travel. He was 72 yards behind at the time of impact. We know that now. He was actually the second car to pull up behind, not even the first. At no point in time did he have to slam his brakes. He wasn't even close to the second car.
Dude, this is bullshit. How?
So that right there alone, that kind of like me saying that that's a high performance vehicle, even that doesn't even matter because it's a vehicle in front of it that's a fucking Ford Traverse, probably something that's an American standard. You feel what I'm saying? That's like, you know, regular grade, not even, I mean, no offense to Ford. You're talking about a Dodge sports car. Brakes, pistons, Ford brake pads, calipers, regular calipers. You feel what I'm saying? We're talking about Brimbos. If we're talking about the Charger, we're talking about Brimbos. You feel what I'm saying?
How was he charged for this? If this actually went to trial, he would have been acquitted so quick.
He just eased in. He eased in. He went straight from there to the facility in Shreveport for his football practice.
Now, he should have probably stopped and checked on people.
He had no idea he caused this accident because he didn't think he caused the accident. He didn't cause the accident. Did he? Did he just get through and take off like they suggested? You and I read reports earlier. We're looking at old news reports where they say he actually collided with a vehicle.
They did.
They actually said he fled a scene. They actually said he came back to the scene. Do you know how preposterous that is? None of that's true. And he sure as hell never split the difference and barely got through, and then there was some big explosion. That's not what happened.
Nasty,
Kyren Lacy passed 4 vehicles. There's no question, in a row. Nobody ever disputed that. But it's now undisputed that he got back in. 92.3 yards. Now, interestingly enough, the report indicates that at 120.4 yards, he was already entering back into the lane, right?
120 yards, he was already getting back in the lane after passing and then passing.
That's not what nobody said yet.
120 yards, that's a full
Nobody
football
said that.
field, including the end zones.
They reference that is they say in this report, the district attorney's office, their investigation yielded that at that time, Kyren and vehicle number 2, all right, 1.5 seconds before the accident, or 120.4 yards apart.
So it said 120.4 yards, not feet.
All this is yards. This is not feet.
Big difference.
The only footage we have discussed, you and I today, is what's legally required when you pass a vehicle.
100 feet.
You have to be back in your lane of traffic 100 feet. He was over 300 feet. I'll be the first to admit that particular law does not say when you're in a no passing zone. Be clear. He passed 4 vehicles in a no passing zone. Never been disputed. Not once.
You definitely should not have been doing that. I may admit I've done that once or twice in my day, for sure. If there's a car going slow shit, but I don't think 4 cars. 4 cars is kind of crazy.
But the big narrative spun was, and this is very important, that he was actively passing at the time of this accident. That is extremely important.
He wasn't. He was back in the lane, wasn't he?
We know now that is 100% false.
Yeah.
In the conclusion of the district attorney's report,
Okay, go ahead.
they state in here that they gave the impression that Kyren Lacy was actively passing vehicles when the crash occurred, which is incorrect. He did pass 4 vehicles, but was back in the southbound lane before the crash occurred.
Literally.
And now we know, according to this data, that was 72.6 yards as it's stated in this report.
This is mind blowing.
See, y'all like playing with people's lives. That's the fucking problem. Y'all like playing with people's livelihood. That's the fucking problem. Y'all like sabotaging people and what they build and how hard they work. That's the fucking problem.
Started adding up to me to know that there were holes all over this thing, right? So it's the policy of the Lafourche Parish District Attorney's Office that all homicides go to a grand jury. We were nearing that grand jury, right? Where all of this was coming out. Everything I'm telling you now is going to be presented to a grand jury in a fair, neutral, and impartial manner. So, in my opinion, this never survives a grand jury. Never, ever survives a grand jury. We were 48 hours from that.
What the fuck, man? What was this argument with this family member, bro? This is so sad, bro. He should be in the NFL right now, practicing and playing a game in 2 days. That's pretty much the gist of this whole situation. I think this district attorney's office should be embarrassed for charging him, honestly. The only thing I can see is because it was a no passing zone, and they're like, shit, we got it. We can convince a jury just because it's a no passing zone, even though he was back in his lane 92 yards away from. I don't understand. At the same time, I agree with this lawyer. I don't think this would have passed a grand jury either. Rest in peace, Kyren Lacy. Love you guys. Peace out, man.
See how that plays out. We have one innocent person life taken, and now as you can see, 2 innocent people lives taken in that scene, in that ecosystemic right there. You have a couple of 40, 50 people who played a part in 2 people losing their life. Some of them are guilty, some of them are not guilty, some of them were honest, some of them were dishonest, some of them were passing bystanders, some of them elicited to, you know what I'm saying, to be part of their role in that crime, or in that accident, because that's what we're gonna call it, an accident. Fuck all that, bro. That's a crime scene. That's a crime scene. And I'm not talking about because of what Kyren Lacy is being blamed for. I'm not talking about because of how that lady swerved and had an accident and the person died. I'm talking about every single person that is accountable for what happened and how it resulted after. All the cap, all the lies, all the adjusting in statements and things of that sort. That's bullshit. That's bullshit, bro. I would not take that. I would not accept that at all. Rest in peace, Kyren Lacy, bro. I hope his family can find peace. Disrespectful, man. That is atrocious, man. Into that gold vehicle and that lady that was in that car that didn't sign that statement. May God bless y'all. May God bless y'all for being honest. Man, that golden truck is a golden ticket, man. I pray that y'all make it into the gates of heaven, and even in the life on earth that y'all live in, I pray that y'all are blessed abundantly. You feel me? Even the sheriffs, man, the police officers, the people that were supposed to be doing this investigation and seeking justice. Yo, Ghost, I appreciate that sub. And Mello, man, congratulations, Mello. You were a subscriber. And it's funny, Mello just did come in here and he said, God will bless you God will test you before he bless you. You feel what I'm saying? You meant to subscribe? Look, I'll do you one. I don't know if I can. I'm gonna gift you a sub. We'll go around like that. Yeah, I've been blessed, bro. I've been grinding, staying healthy as best as I can. You feel what I'm saying? Thank you for the gift of sub as well, bro. Thank you. I've been alright. You feel me? I just reacted to this right here, and it's trying to like change my whole perspective and my whole view on people alone. And I always, like, I guess this is more of a reminder, because I always pay attention to the fact of how people treat other people, how people choose to live their lives, and how they choose to impact and affect other people around them. You know what I'm saying? If you don't know what I mean, I don't know if it's me, but you sound low. I'm kind of low. I'm not speaking directly into the mic, so that could be one of the things.